So I decided that I'm going to do a bottom line video so you can have top line, bottom line, and then all the lessons in between of why, and then the inter specifics of individual diseases. But regardless of what type of disease you have, whether it's, like I said, Parkinson's, ALS, fibromyalgia, whatever you happen to have, rest assured, if you focus on your extracellular collagen matrix from lesson 1, and you focus on parts of the body that you can leverage and utilize your muscles as sorters and utilize your body in a physics type of way. Leverage, pressure depends on what your problem is. So the bottom line is you think about what your problem is. If it's diabetes, the source of the problem of the diabetes is the pancreas. So your issue is your collagen matrix is tangled by your pancreas. So that needs to be the focus of what you're doing to untangle yourself and untangle your collagen matrix. So if you focus on leveraging areas around this part of the body, Einstein will help me here, up by the rib cage, under the breast area, where a lot of people have a band of collagen that wraps around to help hold up the boobs if you're a woman. And if you're a guy with a gut, it holds up the top part of the gut. That part presses on the pancreas. And then inside the pancreas, it's tangled up. And it's turning and twisting, and it's causing something we call apoptosis. And apoptosis occurs and cell death happens. And when you have too much apoptosis, then you have too much death, and the insulin that is created in those cells cannot happen. So if you have diabetes, you focus pressure points here, right by where the pancreas is. Mr. Body. Pancreas, okay? So you focus by your pancreas. Mine with liver, pancreas. I forget mirror image here on the camera. So pancreas, so I would focus on this side and actually both sides of the body, because both sides are going to be important in how it's pinched. But if you can leverage pressure here around this part of the girdle, and as much pressure, not to be painful, but pressure to loosen up that collagen, it will unwind and will untwist, and it will stop causing apoptosis, and it will stop causing cell death, and your cells will start producing insulin again. And those cells that are healthy and alive can then divide and replenish those that were killed. So as long as you have some cells left and you're not a complete diabetic in the sense that you're completely insulin dependent and you have absolutely no other cell function, then you can recover as long as you have at least one that can divide and come back. Then those cells will grow back. So if you're diabetic, you focus by the pancreas. If you have ALS, you think about how ALS is in the collagen matrix, where it's pulling up from basically from the bottom. And so we are round in pockets. So if you have ALS, you would focus wherever you're having symptoms, where your symptoms are occurring, and you need to think upstream of your symptoms, and that's where you need to focus the pressure. If you have Parkinson's and you have Oliver tremors, then you've got collagen tangle up in the brain area, as well as in parts along the spine. So you would focus in various areas by the cranium, by the base of the skull, right here, and by the base of the shoulders, in those types of areas, to help with if you had Parkinson's. And if you can get untangling of this collagen matrix, then the cells that are supposed to do their job, the cells that are supposed to have dopamine, be producing dopamine, can then replenish and they can produce dopamine. If you have, let's think, if you have fibromyalgia, you're going to focus on your pain points, wherever your pain points are. And a lot of times, those are going to be along the spine and the base of the spine, the lower back. There's a lot of sorting that goes on at the lower back, at the upper back. You'll have areas where you have pain. Those are probably going to be the most collagen dense areas, and those are probably going to be the areas that you need to focus. But every person's unique. Every person is going to be different, and depending upon what has happened in your lifetime, whether you've been in a car accident, whether you've been in a skiing accident, or you've been in something that's caused trauma and shaking up of your collagen matrix, and it's tangled in a variety of different ways. We're all going to be individualized, and we're all going to be different in how it needs to come untangled. But if you think through your logic of what has occurred to you in your life, what your disease process is, you can have focal points that you're going to need to work on, and using your bones as a means to leverage, and using anything to press and make a band, sports bands, go get a massage, but talk about trigger points rather than, a nice, gentle, soothing massage. Do those types of things. And think about your disease in a logical way, and what is the source cause of the cell that is dying because the collagen matrix is tangling and strangling it. If it's something else like tolerance, we'll have to get into that's more like you have a peanut allergy, or you have some kind of serious allergy, then that's going to require more explanation. That'll have to be in other lessons. But rest assured, there are all sorts of ways to think about your problem, but you have to think about the source of your problem as the cell, and think that that cell is no longer able to do its job, whether it's the pancreas, or if you have a genetic disorder and you are not able to produce a certain enzyme, or you're not able to produce something that is necessary for a holistic function, and you have cystic fibrosis, or something where you have a molecular deficiency, a genetic deficiency, then you have to think, okay, which cell in my body is not producing that? And that's the part that you're going to probably need to focus on, because that's the area that's going to get constrained and tangled the most, because that's the cell that is missing the component that is supposed to be interacting with this collagen matrix. And I'll explain more about that also later. But wherever your deficiency is, wherever you're missing something, then that is also going to be your focus point. So if you're missing something, then that is your focus target area. If you have a disease that from an organ, that is going to be your target area on your body and trying to leverage. And if it's something with the brain, it's going to be up mostly by the base of the skull, around top of the head, up here, down by the jaw. If you have cardiovascular issues, a lot of times Dr. Oz mentions the fold that he sees on people right here. Then that fold is occurring because that collagen matrix is starting to get tangled right here at that joint. And so as that gets tangled, it starts to draw up the sac that is around the heart. And so that's why those people have more cardiovascular disease. That's why he notices that. He doesn't realize that's why, but that's why he notices that. He also says he notices that people that have thyroid issues are missing this outer part of the hair. and so outside of the eyebrows. And it's not just because thyroids cause thyroid and hormone is associated with hair loss, but the actual pattern of the hair loss is important, because right here whoosh, we have a collagen set that comes through all those little parts of the skull. If you remember from, if anybody watches Bones, the skull has a bunch of little squirrely things right here, and that's to tear apart the collagen and shred it so it can reorganize. It's a sorter. Our bones and our muscles are sorters, and so when these parts get clogged right here, that's why people often go gray right here, right? Or they'll go gray right here because right here is also a sorter, right by the temples. Gray streaks, gray streaks. Obama, getting gray, right? Because he's so stressed. Because he's stressed, yeah, stress again causes, it's a physical reaction. It's you pulling on that collagen matrix. So stress causes this to get clogged, which then cuts this off here, causes this hair to go gray, causes this hair to go gray, right? So it explains everything. That is why it is the theory of everything. And so it explains all the stuff in health in the body that is always baffling to doctors, and they don't understand why. You can explain it by this collagen matrix, extracellular collagen matrix theory, and it's the theory of everything. So I will go through all of these lessons as much as I can, as specific and detailed as I can, and I hope people will watch, because this will help the world if the world listens.